Entertainment, business, government, philanthropy. Kansas is a land of exceptional people with interesting life stories. This week, I visit with two Wichita brothers whose elegant and eye-popping craftsmanship is showcased at football games and parades from coast to coast. Wherever you see a marching band, there's a good chance that band is wearing Fruhauf uniforms. From Ohio State University to your local high school, this Wichita company keeps musicians looking flashy and dapper as they strut their stuff. At the helm of this prestigious family-owned business, you'll find Ken and Richard Fruhauf. The two brothers carry on the legacy that began with their great-grandfather in 1910. Ken and Richard are the fourth generation of Fruhaufs to operate the company, with a fifth generation already working his way up the ladder. Coming up, we'll find out how this family-run enterprise continues to succeed in a highly competitive industry. We'll discover the impact that working together has on family relationships. Is there any sibling rivalry? And we'll reveal why, after decades in the uniform business, they are still so excited to go to work every day. This promises to be an informative and inspirational half hour as I welcome Ken and Richard Fruhauf to this week's edition, One-on-One. Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Victor Hogstrom, and I'm excited to welcome Richard and Ken Fruhauf to the program. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Two brothers working in the same company, the Fruhauf Company. Take us to the beginning. How did this family business begin?
It basically began when my great-grandfather was 14. He was sent to Vienna to become a tailor's apprentice. He worked as a tailor and decided to, in the late 1800s, immigrate to the United States with his family. They came into New York, and the owner of Ennis Department Store was in New York looking for a tailor to come work in his store here in Wichita. So he hired my great-grandfather. He moved to Wichita to become his tailor. And he would also make things on the side for other organizations like the Lions Club and the Elks Club and things like that. And he was in Marion, Kansas one day, and they said, "Do you make band uniforms?" And he has a sewing machine, so he said, "Yes, I do." And here we are today. And that was in 1910, yes.
With a large family business that's gone now for, what, 5 generations?
5 generations, yes.
Now,
yes.
Ken, you talked about the various percentages of family members that remain in the company, and you said 34% will continue in the second generation, 13 in the third, and about 3% in the fourth generation. What about the fifth generation? Are you concerned about that?
Well, the fifth generation, as far as statistics are concerned, are not documented as yet. And we definitely would like to have our company surpass the fifth generation.
And yes. Do you have someone in the preparing to take over in the future?
My oldest son has graduated college and is working within the company.
So he's preparing himself?
He's preparing himself, yes.
Wow. How does it feel working with family members?
Family members, you know, people ask us that all the time. To me, it would be unusual not to work with family. I work with family. I worked with my grandfather, my brother, my father. So to me, it's always been family. So not to work in family, to me, would be very unusual. Working in family, you have people there that are truly after the same goals you're after. So it's kind of nice to have someone there that you can lean on, and they can lean on you, and so that's the way we like it.
When Richard and I started in the business together, we were, of course, very young. We were 14, 15, 16 years old, and our grandfather and father were in the building at the same time, so we learned from the second and the third generation, and that was extremely rewarding. Quite a few of the employees that are still with the company today were with us when we were 16, 17, and 18 years old in the business.
So the two of you are the two brothers running the company. Who's the boss?
Well, of course, I'm the boss.
I think it depends on who you ask.
When just a little bit ago, Rich just left his office and caught me coming down the hallway and says, "Hey, listen, I need to have some help with this project that we're on. We have a sales rep that we're dealing with in North Carolina. I need your help on this." So at that point, he gave me the right to take over as the boss and handle this project. Other projects, Richard's the boss, and it really just kind of depends on what we're doing. And that teeter-totter happens all day long.
Do you ever disagree?
We
Never
disagree.
We never disagree.
We work very well
And that's the
together.
truth.
We will come in, and everybody has their moment. And when we both sit down and we look at the pros and cons of each situation, and we are able to come up with a decision that is best for the company and overall best. So it works out fairly well most of the time.
So you grew up working in the company.
Yes.
Was there an expectation that you would take over the company, or did you have your own aspirations to become something else?
I really did not. I always wanted to come work within the company. The expectations that were put on me were to learn the company frontwards and backwards and make sure that I am able to handle managing the company and not just take for granted that it's going to be passed down. We had to learn every step of the company. We've worked in every aspect of the business.
When we started, when we were very young, just as Landon has done since he was 16 years old.
15.
Now, who's Landon?
My youngest. My
Landon
oldest.
Landon is the fifth generation coming in.
Okay.
So Richard and I started in the stock room, in the freight department, in the delivery department. Then we started working in the factory and in the pressing department.
This department and that department.
Yeah, we worked in all the departments and all the phases throughout. It wasn't just, okay, you've left college, now you're coming in, and here's your business. This is taken over.
We had to earn it. There was the only expectation is you do the job and you do it correctly.
So you were well-rounded for the job.
We were. We were very well trained.
Yep, absolutely.
What kind of kids were you growing up, knowing that you had a job waiting for you? You didn't have to worry about maybe looking for a job or going out there for job interviews and all of those things that other people do.
Well, it's kind of funny that you mention about job interviews. Every time we go out and call on a school district or call on a band director, or we have a band director come in the building, we are on a job interview. At that point, the potential customer, the potential order is not guaranteed. So we actually interview every single time we talk to a customer. And still today, 110 years later, we still interview. I just wanted to throw that in that aspect,
right.
Because when we were in school and when we left college, we knew that we wanted to continue working in the business because we started when we were earlier years. So
we were much younger when we started. So we really did not, yes, we didn't have to interview for a job, but the expectation was much higher because our name was on the door. So as my father told us, you have to work twice as hard to get half the distance. So our expectations were much higher than the other people because we had to perform, we had to learn the business, and we had to learn the right way of doing it. So it was a very long process. So the pressure was higher, I believe, on us than it is on your average employee. So it really was not a given.
Right.
We had to earn it.
Right.
And if we didn't earn it, that was it.
You didn't get it.
We didn't get
We
it.
didn't
So
get it.
have you been turned down before by potential buyers?
Oh, most definitely. If we walk in and we make a presentation to a school board and they choose another vendor for possibly a bid price, or maybe the sample uniform is not up to expectation, or the design, or whatever the decision may be, we walk out of there knowing and feel very confident that we have done the best we could do, and that there are at least 5 more potential customers just outside that front door that we can go to, and we know that we're not the perfect match for everyone. We understand that.
So let's talk about other siblings or other kids from the family. The two of you grew up and were trained and now run the company. As the company progresses, your child is going to be in charge in the future.
Hopefully.
But his children are in totally different business, professional business. Explain
Correct.
that. What would that mean for the company?
Well, in my case, my oldest child wants to go into the business, and my youngest child decided he'd like to become a doctor. My youngest also worked from the age of 15, and he has since graduated college and is working in the medical industry, and year after next plans on applying for medical school. So, you know, they have to follow their heart. They have to do what they want to do. They have to do what makes them happy. And just because there's an opportunity here, if it's not going to make you happy, then it's not worth doing.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have one that one of my children want to go into the business. So I feel confident that he will achieve what is necessary in order to learn how to run the business, and at some point in the future, it will be his to run. What the future brings past that, you know, none of us really know. Hopefully that it will continue for generations to come after that, after the 5th, and we can see a 6th, 7th, and 8th. But, you know, we really don't know what the future brings.
Let's hope that they continue very successfully so that they can take care of us the older we get.
There you go. There you go. I like that better.
I think that's the way to do it. Yeah. That's the way family businesses
and continue
are run.
to pay you too, right? Well, what makes a good band uniform? I know you make more than band uniforms because you make the dressy police outfits.
Right.
You make
Yes.
outfits for the military, but your main emphasis, the big package, is the band uniform.
Correct.
Yes, that's correct.
So what makes a good band uniform?
Many different things. To begin with, the base fabrics that the garments are made out of, the pattern work and the fit, the construction of the uniform, the type of machines that we use, and also a very big secret, and that is our talented employees. The sewing machine operators that put these uniforms together are absolutely phenomenal.
Most of our employees have been with us for 20, 25, up to 45, 50 years. So we don't have a lot of turnover on the employees, so they take a lot of pride in the manufacturing of the product, doing it correctly, and they're very talented towards that. But one of the main things is the pattern work, how the garment fits, how it's constructed, and the longer it lasts. We want that garment to look good the first day they wear it and the last day they wear it. And if it falls apart before the last day they wear it, then that really doesn't say a lot for your company. So we want them to look good throughout the life of the garment, and we put in the necessary items and the tailoring that goes into it to make them last. It receives they work a lot, hard work in these uniforms. They're perspiring a lot and things like that. So we put in the construction features that make those last.
I want to talk again about the family-run company.
Mm-hmm.
What are the challenges and what are the benefits of being a family-run company and working with family members?
Well, the challenge is working with family members, basically, and the advantage is likewise working with family members. Like I mentioned, having somebody there that is truly on your side, watching your back, covering for you, you cover for them, working as a team towards a common goal. So you're really not in it kind of by yourself. You're in it with your brother, with your son, with your father, your grandfather. In our period that we worked with the two previous generations, and you learned from them, and it's great to have somebody there that you can truly count on and to work towards that common goal.
And what about the challenges, Ken?
There are always challenges. Excuse me. Irregardless if you're working with an employee or a family member, most of the time challenges might be like, for instance, when Richard's busy working on the computer and so forth, and when an employee comes in the office, then he'll stop and he'll say, okay, well, what can I help you with? But when I come in, he doesn't stop or even look up at all. So at that point,
okay. Am I to respond to that?
Go ahead.
Well, the way I see it is we're so in tune with each other that I really don't have to, because I know what he's going to say before he says it, and he says it, and we discuss it, and I can still kind of multitask. So that's the way I see it.
well, sometimes there's another example. Sometimes we have a big order going out, and the freight needs to be loaded, and I'll go out there and I'll help the freight guy load and get all the boxes on, and Rich will come out and go, oh, I've hurt my back. I'm sorry, I can't help you with this. Right? Sometimes.
Tell me about your growing up days when you were growing up.
Can we start this question over again? Because I seem to feel like I just got slammed, and I was being very courteous and cordial, and
well, you had the nice side of the question.
I do have back issues, and one of the ways I have resolved my back issues is stop lifting a bunch of weight. So he can see it how he does, but I see it how I do. So I take care of other things, he loads the truck.
So tell me about your management styles. How do they differ?
Well, I see that they differ considerably.
He said considerably.
Considerably. Richard is he's very hands-on and very technical. I can remember my dad saying, listen, Rich, when I ask you what time it is, I just need the time. I don't know how to build a watch. So me, on the other hand, it's a lot of steps in between I skip because I want to get to the end result much quicker without going through all the steps in between. So Rich is more technical, he's more hands-on, he works the details out to the fullest. Me, on the other hand, I kind of take it from start to finish and kind of flow right through, and everything else is taken care of because Rich has it figured out.
He's got the details.
He's got the details.
I would agree with that. I am more detailed on, depending upon what it is. If it's manufacturing, the steps involved in manufacturing.
Those you can't skip.
To make sure that those steps are the correct steps to manufacture it as efficiently as possible. The engineering of the product, making sure that the patterns are working throughout all the sizes and things like that. Are some examples, and Kenny might be more involved in, okay, let's get the uniforms made. So yeah,
time to pull the fabric, let's get in the cutting department, and customer needs delivery. And
so we both have we both do things a little different, but it's towards the same goal.
What are your goals? You're in charge of Fruhauf right now. What are your goals for the future?
Just to continue to grow, continue to make the best product in the industry, and continue to work day by day to pass it on to that next generation.
we want to make sure that our customers have a very high regard for our efforts and what we do. And we want to make sure that all of our employees are well taken care of, because they're the ones that take care of us.
They're the backbones of the business, and without them, there's nothing.
What makes you happiest most?
When that set of uniforms goes out the door and you know that you have produced it 100% on time or sooner than expectation, and it is either at a contest, which a lot of the bands, the high school bands, compete.
Might just be visiting the school. We'll go back and visit schools.
That as well, absolutely. When you walk into that band room, and the wildest thing is, now that we've been in the business for well over 40 years, we walk into the music department or the band room and people are like, oh my gosh, there's Mr. Fruhauf in the building. And I stop and I look around, and I'm looking for my dad or my grandfather. What do you mean?
It's saying Mr. Fruhauf.
It's just me, yeah.
It's seeing the smiles on the kid's face. You know, the arts are very important. And in a lot of places, the arts are going away. And to us, the arts are extremely important. Music is a great way for all of the kids to do better in school. And by seeing those kids have that brand new uniform and they're looking sharp and they're out on the marching field and having a great time and putting everything they have into it, and see them come off the field after their performance satisfied of what they did and how they look and how they feel and how they sounded, is really where the satisfaction comes in, is seeing the smiles on the students' faces.
My final question, looking back at the company, is there anything that if you could change right now, you would?
Well, let's see.
More sales?
I don't.
But we do all right. We're happy with what we do.
I don't think we could answer that in a way that would be any different than what we have told you already. The ancestry that we have, the legacy that we have, we're extremely proud of, and the type of products that we produce every day, and our customers that we provide for, and we see them on television for the parades, the holiday parades, and so forth, and
the employees.
Of course, the employees.
you know.
But the employees are extremely proud of the products they produce when they see them on
Most
game
definitely.
day, halftime, and so forth. We have gone through a very technical part of the legacy of our business, and we have created a workplace for the artists to come and produce these beautiful uniforms. We're very proud of that.
You know, our business started in 1910. And to kind of put that into perspective, that was 2 years before the Titanic set sail. And to have a business that started way back then with your great-grandfather and passed from generation to generation is a tremendous feat. It's highly irregular for that to be, and we are so proud of that. That's what drives us every single day. It's not necessarily, you know, Kenny and I are working together, but Dad is still there, and Grandpa is still there, and Great-Grandpa is still there telling you what to do.
Wow.
We hear that every day.
Right.
Yeah.
We hear more, do this and do that versus don't do this.
And the name is German. Your great-great-grandfather, you were telling the story earlier, came from Germany.
From Austria.
Austria?
Austria.
Ah,
From Vienna, Austria,
okay.
Yeah.
to the United States.
And did not even plan this company.
At that time, no.
No.
No,
It was,
he was a tailor's apprentice.
Right.
it's because one person in Marion, Kansas said, we're going to start a town band. Do you make band uniforms?
Right.
Here we are.
Richard Fruhauf. Ken Fruhauf.
Thank you very much.
It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
one-on-one.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And thank you for watching this edition of One-on-One. One-on-one@kpts.org is our email address. Please drop me a line because we always enjoy hearing from you. Until next time, I'm Victor Hogstrom, and I'll see you again soon.